Hey there! Our first feature on the list is var versus let versus const. Let's get back to file.js and let me comment this snippet of code. Imagine we have this function wow. It has if true, then we execute this code, then inside we have another if, and then we have variable declared with the var keyword, and it is a string that we just console log. Now, if I save this file and then I run or invocate this function, let me save it and execute this file using Node.js. Let's see the output. So we have hello, and there is nothing wrong with that. Actually, everything works fine. However, what's wrong with this code snipping? The very wrong part here is this var keyword. What's wrong with var? When we declare a variable, we expect it to be scoped to some area, right? If I declare var over here inside this if block, I want it to be visible or accessible only inside this if block. So if I try and access my var variable outside of this if block, I should have an error or it must be undefined. However, if I save this snippet of code and actually if I put this console log my var outside of both of these if statements, and if I save this file and execute it, I still can see the output of hello. What is happening here is happening because of var. And the thing is that var, it is not scoped to the closest brackets. It is scoped to the function scope. The var variable that I declared inside this if, it doesn't matter how many levels deep I have this var inside, it will be accessible everywhere inside the function scope, inside these brackets. So this is what var is. It is accessible inside the function scope. This is bad in modern JavaScript because it can be unpredictable. This is why nowadays you will see var nowhere. We use let and const to make our variables scoped to the closest brackets. Now, if I change this var to let, and if I save it, now, if I try and execute this file, I will have the reference error saying my var is not defined because this let my var is scoped only to the closest brackets. And you can see that it was dimmed by VS Code. Now, if only I move this console log back to the visible scope of this variable, and if I save it and execute it, now everything works fine. What's the difference between let and const? Okay, so now you know that let is scoped to the closest brackets, and so is const. So if I replace it with const and save it and execute the file, nothing will be changed. So what's the difference? Once we declare a const variable, it cannot be reassigned. For example, if I want to change my var to, let's say, 5, I can do that because I simply declare it with const, and it implies that this variable is constant and will not be changed. If I try to execute it, I will have this warning saying that assignment to constant variable. If I have a variable that I want to reassign in the future somewhere in the code, then I should declare it with let. So let means that we declare a variable that will be reassigned. Alright, so now if I execute my file, I can see I have no warnings and I have 5 as an output. So this is the difference. Let's summarize. The var keyword is bad. From now on, you don't use it. You use either let or const. Most of the time, you will use const. Only if you need to reassign the variable, only then you use the let keyword. One point to mention here is that if we have an object, for example, I declare const my var is an object, and then if I do something like my var dot sum prop equal to 5, and if I try and execute this code, it will not produce me an error, because in this way we are not directly changing the object, we just modifying the internal properties. That's why we don't have any warnings. However, if I try and redeclare my var to, let's say, a string, only then I will have the error message. I hope that's clear. From now on, please use either let or const. See you in the next video.